Hey, how's it going, buddy? You okay?
Yeah, quite good, quite good. Tough times around, but mm, we feel optimistic and actually have quite beautiful weather already. So
Yeah,
when
same here.
when the darkness moves out, it's much more easier to handle everything.
Yeah, definitely. So for anybody watching, this is Mindaugas. He's a friend of mine. We met. When did we meet? A couple of years ago now, 2016,
Something around that, yeah.
something like that.
It actually, when I thought about this, actually, like it's already 5, 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, yeah. Time goes quick, doesn't it? So we met in your home country of Lithuania. Um,
No, I believe we first.
or
Oh
did we
yeah,
first?
first we
Yeah.
met in Lithuania in our
Mm.
factory, and then we met. We went to Riga, to Latvia, to our buddies. Bless
Oh,
you.
oh, bad timing.
We have the saying in Lithuania that it meant that I was telling the truth.
Yeah. Oh, I think I've got another one. Oh.
Yeah, bless you.
Oh, nightmare. Yeah, so we met in Lithuania first. I flew over
Yeah,
because I was helping these Latvian guys with some project management, and you were working
yeah,
for them, and
yeah.
you had a factory space that you were managing for them in the production of sort of
Turkey meat.
fruit and veg, turkey meat, like different kinds of meats and things you were putting packets together for
Yeah,
supermarkets. Um, yeah, then we went from there to Riga, and
yeah.
we drove from Lithuania to Riga, and we spent a couple of wild days there. And I was meant to give a presentation, a project management presentation, I think on the Saturday, and on the Friday night. Were you there as well? We all went
Yeah.
out, and then we went to a few different bars around Riga, and then the guys said, "Oh, we're gonna go and take you to this place. It'll be really fun." And I was like, okay. So we start driving out of town, and we get to what looks like an industrial estate, and then there's this like huge, what I can only describe to people in the UK as like a B&Q warehouse size building, or to people in America probably a Walmart size building, like in the middle of nowhere. And I'm thinking, oh, is this going to be a concert or something? I could hear some music. So we go through into this building and pay like a small fee on the door. We go through this little maze area, and I realize all of a sudden there's some sensual photographs, like on this wall. And then I go through into this like indoor marketplace. Only it's not a normal marketplace because obviously it's nighttime, and every single stall is selling sex toys. Do you remember this?
Actually, I remember, but I didn't go with you because it was a little bit too much of vodka before for me, so I went
Yeah.
to the hotel.
Yeah. So, oh right. So you didn't come to that. So this is where they.
I I have this for all my life I have this I don't know how to say it, not a feeling, but if I start to feel that it's too much, just
Yeah.
move
It,
home and to do it home base. So
it was quite a lot, wasn't it? Because
yeah,
we had loads of we had like some sort of Asian food and some caviar and biscuits and
yeah.
stuff and vodka. And we were just drinking vodka straight. And then we went out to the bar, and I thought that we were gonna just drink normally, but we carried on drinking straight vodka
We can,
shots.
yeah.
And it was pretty heavy. So you went back to the hotel, and then we went to
Yeah,
this.
like just before we went to this exhibition. So,
Yeah,
but I know, I remember you showed. I believe I still have some pictures somewhere. So I think,
really. Ah,
yeah,
you'll have to send
I
them to
have.
me, and we'll.
No, I have to burn them.
You have to burn them. Oh, pictures from the exhibition that I sent to you.
No, no, yeah, yeah. So yeah, and you sent me and our fellow from Poland, Wojtek,
Oh
also.
yeah, Wojtek. Yeah, I wonder how Wojtek's doing. Because he was like an older chap, wasn't he? So he's like retired or semi-retired.
He's a smart guy, so he's
Yeah.
officially retired, but he's still doing business. So I always keep in touch with him. So he's
Oh,
doing
good.
well. He's healthy. He's back in Poland.
He
So
was he was a really interesting guy. Yeah, I liked him a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
you
the
should
guy who lived in half of the world. Yes,
yeah, amazing. So next time you see him, tell him, send him my regards. Like that'd be really nice.
sure.
And yeah, so I go into this marketplace, into this exhibition, and then over on the right hand side there's a stage, and there's there's people on the stage like trying out all of these different things, and like having sex live on stage, and I was like, where am I? Like, what is going on? And yeah, it's just a casual Friday night, and it was like something I'd never ever seen before. Um, and I don't remember much after that, but I think we went to a few more places around Riga, and then I went back to the hotel. Next thing I know, I'm being woken up. Come on, we gotta go to work. What time was the meeting?
I don't remember, but I know. You know what was before the meeting? We went to this Lido restaurant
Oh
where
yeah,
it was all this
yeah,
heavy
yeah,
national foods, like pork and so
yeah.
on. So with the like a lot of potatoes and so
Mm.
on, and it was a lot of fat food.
Yeah, I love that place. That's so good. Yeah, big
But
shout
it's
out to the Latvian Lido. Yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
and it's actually like that's what I'm remember. They said that it's their tradition, and actually it's similar in Lithuania. Like they usually eat a lot, for the hangover they eat a lot of
Yeah.
like bad food.
Well, even though I had that beautiful hangover food from the Lido, it didn't work. So after that, we had the meeting, and we're in the office, and I swear my body is processing all this vodka and this food, and I'm sweating, and I'm just sweating buckets, like, and then I have to stand up and give this presentation on like project management methodologies, and they're like, right, off you go, and I was just, my head was spinning, my head was pounding, and all I could think of was like, why did they do this to me? Like they expected me to have like to be able to remember all this knowledge, these methodologies, and to come up with these ideas. Get me drunk after the meeting, not before. It was
Yeah,
pretty mad.
yeah, I believe that I was like in a little bit different and better position at the time
Yeah,
because I went home earlier.
yeah,
And
you
actually, I
were.
remember there was only like one of the Arvis, the wife, was also because in a good mood because she also went early there home
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
kids. So we two like,
Maybe Wojciech, I think he was okay as well.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a smart guy. So
yeah. I think he was he had the glass, and he was like this,
always the same
cheers,
one.
and then throwing it over his shoulder, or like
Mike.
cheers, and like giving it to me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty hectic. So that was when we met. I think it was either 2015 or 2016, and
No, I
I
believe
was
it was 16.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I started to work with those guys only like
right.
November, December of 15. So
Okay.
so it has to be something like
Yeah,
year later.
2016 was a
Yeah.
pretty mad year, and yeah. So then, as part of that trip, those guys, I think they went off to do something, and they left me with you, and this was before all of that sort of drunkenness that we were talking about. So you and I didn't know each other at all, and you were kind enough to take me on a walking tour of Vilnius, and show me different places, like different churches and the town square. And
Sorry to interrupt, but it was Kaunas.
oh, sorry, yeah, Kaunas. Okay. Well, the memory's fuzzy after that night. So
after that, yeah, you were raised.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. Yeah, so you showed me around all these beautiful places, and that's when we got talking and sort of bonded, and we've been friends ever since. And so now here we are in 2022, and we're like kind of different men between then and now. We've both got families and married and children.
A couple of kids, yeah.
Yeah, and there are like number one priorities. And so when we look at what's going on in the east or southeast for you, like down in Ukraine, and it's frightening to think what might be next. And it's frightening for me, as I've got you as a friend, and obviously your family, and then I've got Einars and all those guys in Latvia. And it's concerning for me to I'm sort of hopefully safe here in England, but you guys are almost on the front line there, or we don't know what's going to happen. So how do you feel about that? What do you think?
Yeah, so we of course we feel like much more tension than probably you do, because of all the geographical situation, because like we have the like border with the big border with the Belarus, which also has, now we call it even like the only the part of Russia. It's not, there is no more like independent country with independent solution decisions, sadly. We have small border directly with Russia, but it's with the Kaliningrad, so it's a little bit different. But again, no, we are more afraid, maybe not of the geographical knowledge that we have, but because of the historical knowledge that we have. Because it happens that we were like on the road for the big countries for centuries, and actually the last time, just before the World War II, we were in a very similar situation like Ukraine now, and people in there in those times they were thinking like no, there is no way that anybody will let another World War to happen. The US will come and help us, and so on and so on, and they never did. So people were afraid, and actually now they are afraid, like, for history not to redo itself, not to happen. And we were like really afraid for Ukrainians that the Western countries would just sacrifice them in order to be safe for a short time, because we really understand if the Ukraine falls, then the next targets are like the rest of the Eastern Europe, East and North. So yeah, but like now we spoke like a couple of days before, and the situation was much more tense here, but now we see that and we're really happy that people are like uniting all over the world. The governments unite, even those who like in European Union were like more in the Russian side, like the Slovaks, Czech Republic, Hungary, they just changed their minds. So it means that people really have a sense of like they really have brains, and they understand that the war is not not good for everybody. I just because I have now the stage for myself, so I would just really want to state one thing, that all this doesn't mean that like somebody from Europe or Lithuania or Ukraine hate Russian people. No, there is nothing about like people, culture, language. It's more about the political things. When I was a little kid, Um, Actually, I'm from the family who sacrificed a lot, during the World War II, and after that, my grandmother, my dad's mother, she went to Siberia as a kid. She finished the school there, and she returned with the family like 50 something around 54 or something. And my granddad, he lost his father. He almost lost his life, but thanks to the I don't remember how you call those in English, like those partisans, like who fight in the woods, like there's
Gorillas, guerrilla
it's
fighters,
like Lithuanian. It was like Lithuanian people
like
who went to the
rebels.
yeah, rebels. Yeah, rebels. Thank you. So thanks to the rebels, like the rest of the family lived, and still my granddad is alive, 90 years old. Um, so we like I really know what happened before, because I still have the people who remember what happened before. And when I was a kid, we were like, my granddad was really strict about, for example, us using the words that are not plain Lithuanian, like Russian words. It's taboo. And then at some point of life, I was thinking maybe it's everything what's with Russia is bad, and so on. So that is actually nonsense, and that's why I chose, German language in the school versus the Russian language. But then I remember when I grew up and I become more smart, and I went to talk with my granddad and I said, listen, how it is so, like, but the people and the languages, they have nothing to do with it. And he said, yes, you're right. What I meant before, I said, like, if you speak Lithuanian, then please speak fully Lithuanian. If you speak Russian, please speak all the time, like the fluent Russian, not the insert and make like the language like a trash bin.
Yeah, like a hybrid between.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and now it's actually the same happening with the English language. English language is a beautiful language. Okay, there is like variety of them. It's British English, yeah, and this Australian, American. But again, when people are forgetting their own heritage, their own language, then it's the bad thing, not the language itself. So that was the message, and I thank God that I had the possibility to, to talk with my
yeah,
granddad and to make this clear.
yeah, and to clear that up.
So yeah, so the message is that we really understand. And actually, I've been my dad he's a basketball coach, so he was working in Russia in different cities for almost 7 years. So I've been visiting him. I saw it myself, and there's a lot of nice people. My mother in St. Petersburg had some issues with the health while my dad was away. While we were with the grandparents in Lithuania, so the Russian people held her. Like it, so it was a hard situation, but like they're really nice people. And the problem is that they're really afraid of them, like of their government. And I'm really glad that they started to like to talk that we don't want war either. So like stop the war. And I really believe that they it's also the chance for them to stand up and to tell their opinion and to say that it's enough. Because the majority of Russian people, they are not living dream lives. And uh, I have the question for you. Why do you like you live in UK, yeah, and you see that there is a lot of Russian people,
Yeah,
actually a lot of different country people. Why they go to the UK? Because of the work, because of the education, which is good. That's why we have a free space, and like you can move between the countries freely, and to get better education. That's normal. Every dad would like his kids, to get as best in their life as they can. Yeah. But what those rich oligarchs, what they do in London? Do they seek for education? Do they seek for the work, for the money? If they have so much nice country, when it's all safe and it's all nice, why they go to some Western countries? You have all the money, you have everything, you can build anything you want in there. Why you go somewhere else? Because the answer is simple: because you are afraid, because you are afraid constantly in there. So that's my opinion, of course. The people can say that I'm talking nonsense, but I've been there. I've seen what's happening there, and there is only the matter of time. If you say something wrong, then you just go to the jail or somewhere to the trial. It's happening now. People in the Russia like leaving the notes that no war, like with Ukraine. I don't remember which of the journalist, but he was he left the Ukrainian flag and the message like "no war" on the window. They said to him that like just move it away, and he didn't do it. So he's now like somewhere like in the police. And so it's not the freedom of the that you have in the other countries.
I think yeah, you made some really good points there. And where I'm located here in Norfolk, there's the majority of this county is farmlands and food manufacture, and vegetables and fruit picking and that kind of work. So traditionally, there's a lot of Eastern Europeans and Russians who come over here for the work, and then they manage to accumulate enough money to sort of settle here. And so the people who I'm teaching are sort of second generation students, or third generation, like Russian, Lithuanian, Latvian, Estonian, even Hungarian, Bulgarian. What's the other place? Moldova. So I've got students from all of these different cultures whose parents and grandparents have come over here for one reason or the other, and those guys are here taking advantage of, not in a negative way, but like taking advantage of the education system. So they're here, they're trying to get skilled, they're really hard workers. I even have some students who work full-time, like evenings and weekends, and go to college full-time. I have one student who even managed to buy his mother a house back home, like his mother's back home, and he managed to save up enough money to send the money back home so that they could buy the house outright. And that's amazing. Like any son who can do that for his mom or for his dad or for a family, that's a phenomenal gift. That those guys, they're not here wasting their time like playing video games. Like sometimes they do that to unwind or whatever, but they're always constantly thinking of the future and always thinking, how can they better themselves, how can they make their situation better. And that's something that I always admire from people from Eastern Europe, and I think why I always have a lot in common with people like yourself, like Einars and stuff like that, because I have the same sort of attitude. Yeah, I worry for the kids around here that if you have like a Russian or an Eastern European accent around here, that the potential for friction between perhaps non-educated locals, there might be like an increase of friction. It could happen, and vice versa. Like these things have happened in the past where like a certain ethnic group is targeted. If say for instance 9/11 happened, there was an increase in violence towards people who looked like they were from that part of the world, like from the Middle East. Whereas this time, I feel that more people understand that it isn't the Russian people's fault. I work with Russian people as well, and this one particular lady, she was really upset the other day. She was really fearful that she thought that her that people would hate the Russian people, like that she was afraid that this would cause some sort of backlash on her culture. And she said, this isn't the Russian people, it's the government and the leaders, and whatever they've got in mind for their strategy, for their plan. Nobody asked for this. Nobody's asked for war. Nobody wants it. It's not good. It's not good for business. It's not good for the economy. It's not good for health, security, well-being, mental health. It's not good for preservation of life. It's not good for anything. It's horrible.
Yeah,
And
the biggest problem is that actually the information that they are getting is totally different that we are getting, and that's the saddest thing. That's why they don't understand what's happening. But I know that probably today there was a post from Anonymous, from this cyber hackers. I don't know how to call them, gang.
Yeah.
So they said that because like yesterday or day before, they hacked Russian TV stations, and they like played Ukrainian music through them. And now they said that they hacked TVs once again, and they are showing the real information, the real videos from the Ukraine.
Yeah, they also took down the official Kremlin website as well.
Yeah, that's true. But I would also like to to state one more thing. Actually, maybe it's better for people to understand my background. Actually, I grew up. I was born in free Lithuania. It was 1 year after that we took back our freedom. So I have nothing to do with Soviet Union. I'm the free kid of free Lithuania. I am glad that my dad had successful career. My dad is a basketball coach. He used to be a basketball player. In order to understand, basketball is something like pretty much the same like football in England, in here in Lithuania. And my dad had an opportunity to work in different parts of Europe, of the world. While I was a kid, I was living in Austria, in Italy, in Turkey, and in Russia a little bit. So I met different cultures, and actually now I started to realize, that's why, I'm more like world person, that, okay, my sister is much more like that. She's like, she can like travel all around and she doesn't care, coming back, but in general, I have to admit that, for example, in Lithuania, after the clash of Soviet Union, there was a really, really tough times. Actually, my wife's mother, she's now currently living and working in Scotland. And the problem is that for those who has like lower education, for those who were like in their 30s, 40s, when all this clash happened, then if you were lucky, you started some business, if you had some capital, which was the main issue, so you like now live the pretty good life. If you like didn't manage to do it, if you're like just nice hardworking person, but you have no like extra money, for you like came from village, like from the farmers, your parents were farmers, then it was a little bit difficult, and still is a difficult situation. That's why people travel all over the Europe to find, because for the same job that they do in UK or Scotland or the Norway or Sweden, they're getting like double or triple the money. And I agree that there is two different positions. One is that for those people, and they're like, of course they are not happy, because there is maybe sometimes there is not the freedom they liked. They believe that it will happen, but they don't understand that because of this freedom they are free to go somewhere and to earn that money. There is another group of people like me and like the younger people than me, who are already here. And then me myself, after graduating university, I went to UK. I was living in the nice city of Cleethorpes, then to this movie city of Grimsby.
Yeah,
So
you went to the best places.
yeah, but well, you know, you have to see all yourself, you know. And actually, my sister at that time, she was I finished university in Lithuania, which was like my university was part of the ownership from Oslo, from Norway, so it was international university. My sister was at the time, she was studying in the Newcastle. So, you know,
Yeah, I think
we
she chose better than you.
no, it's okay. Everything is okay with her. You know, she like. I went to Newcastle myself. It was nice city. Everything is okay. You know, like my idea of what I'm trying to say, that even like not Russian, we are not perfect. Nobody, no country is perfect. We have our own issues. We have our own problems. But the difference is that we have the freedom of like doing something, telling something, and not getting hit because you said something different than, you know, that the government saying.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, one of the great things about living in the West and being able to live in a free country is that you can say whatever you want without fear of, you know, punishment. Obviously, I think there might be a bit of a line now, but you know, there's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and you know, you don't want to incite anger or upset anybody. But yeah, I mean, just because somebody has a different opinion or a different mindset, you know, doesn't mean that you should shut them down or slap them or put them in a cupboard or lock them up. You know, the only way to sort difficulties out is through communication and listening to each other's side and point of view and trying to understand why somebody's got that different opinion. And so any criticism towards the government, you know, they it should be taken on board. And they should think, you know, we're here to serve the people. The people aren't here to serve the government. You know, that's not what it's all about. Like, the government are elected officials, or they should be elected officials, who are there to represent their towns and congregations where they come from and listen to the people's concerns and try to make life better for everybody. They're not there to make backdoor deals, you know, break laws, break the
Yeah,
rules, steal money, siphon money from the public coffers, or give their mates the best deals, you know, or to, you know, make you know, to receive under the table donations from people for favors. Like, you know, that's not what it's all about. But unfortunately, even in this country, all of those
it
things
happens.
happen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, and what I wanted also to add, you know, to my last point, that even though I went everywhere around, I really love my country, and because I had an opportunity to feel, to to have a touch on that feeling, like when your like family is living in one country and your like parents living in another country, and how it's difficult for you as a kid. And now I understand how it's difficult for my dad, you know, you know, how it was difficult and still is. And that was the main intention why I came back. I had all it was a perfect career for me. I was living there, working in the recycling business. Then I went to open the branch for this UK company in Istanbul. then okay, something happened that it didn't work. It was like a pilot project, you know. So we said, okay, let's come back and move somewhere else. So first, like regroup back in the UK, and I said, no, listen, that probably is the time where, you know, I have to come back, you know, because at that moment I was planning my wedding. So the beginning was tough, but then I met these two crazy Latvian guys, and it started, you know. So yeah, so it started like you know, it was a nice project. Sadly, it didn't go 100% as we planned. It's still going, but we had to like separate. But again, it's, you know, we still, you know, we still keep in touch. You know, like we still talk. We still like tell happy birthday to each other. You know, so
yeah, sure.
So that's, you know,
how did you meet Einar as an artist?
oh, it's you know, since I came back from UK, I was like not UK, from actually I moved straight from Istanbul with the 3 big bags, because first I went to UK, then I, you know, gathered some like some stuff, then, you know, I moved to Istanbul, then from Istanbul I moved back to Lithuania. So and I was like looking for some more interesting deal, you know, something international. And I started, you know, work in the some wholesale company for mobile devices, because this, like, it was invitation from my friend who was like executive of sales executive in there. He said, like, until you look for opportunities, just come and help me, you know. So I just took this opportunity, you know. And then my cousin, he was working with this Latvian guys from Lithuanian company perspective. And he said, like, listen, there is some interesting project. Maybe you would be interested, you know. I said, well, let's talk, you know. And then we sit down. So it was through my cousin who used to work with them. And he said, like, because they were looking for some person in Lithuania who they can trust. So, and then we spoke a couple of times, and they decided that it's the, you know, we feel the trust. We feel like we talk the same, you know, we have the same ideas, and we decided to move on, you know.
And how did you guys all meet Wojciech?
I met him from them. They were working also from some other from previous times of their some collaboration with other like Polish companies or some previous works. So they also, like, it's actually in my life most of the time it's like I change my working place by recommendations or like with context from people. It happens. Like, I started with UK because the guy who went from our university to have an internship in that UK company, he said, listen, they are looking for an internship, people to come for internship. You know, as you know, probably the same in UK, that you have to, for example, Lithuania in the 4th year, you have to, because we have 4 years in bachelor. So at like the very last half of the year, you have to go to do an internship somewhere. So they said, like, listen, you can come here. They even pay you like low, like it was the minimum wage, but again, you know, it's a help for you, you know, to settle down there, and, you know, for those 3 months. And so yeah, so it happened through that, and it was like a snowball, you know, it was keep rolling. So then, you know, came back to Lithuania, then my friend asked to, you know, to help, then cousin moved me there. Then okay, that there is one more which was basically on me. It was I went working for a pharmaceutical company for actually it was the department of the packaging for export of and import of those packaging solutions for them. So it was only one work that, you know, I made, you know, myself, you know, through agencies. Then and then it was then I went to a big retail group, also through the same friend that invited me for this wholesale business. And now I'm in the university.
Okay. So
Also
you
from one of my colleagues in the, back in that.
so are you working in a university or are you studying again?
Both. Actually, I'm
Okay.
working in the one university. I'm working as a technology transfer. So I sell R&Ds of the university and also all the um, services of the university, and I'm helping with the intellectual property for the company. So it's like I'm the intermediary for the business and university, because academic people, they're a little bit different than business people, and you like
Yeah.
you have to be intermediary to be a Google Translate,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
So do you know how I met Anos?
No.
Okay. So it's kind of
Maybe you told me, but I probably have,
yeah,
forgot,
it's a while ago now. So in early 2001, I basically I had nothing. I had nothing going on. I was about what how old would I have been? Maybe 19, 20, something like that. And I I'd done like door-to-door sales jobs, and I'd done a lot of bar work and bar management and glass collecting and working in kitchens and stuff like that. And I'd been to college and I'd done IT, but I really had nothing going on.
Mm.
And so I went to Ireland in my 20s. So I was born there and then was brought to England. But then when I was in my early 20s, I went back for a bit. And when I was there, I was working in Boots, which is a chemist. And then I after that, actually the first job I had there was I worked in McDonald's. And I made some friends there who I'm still friends with now, actually, an Italian girl called Elena. And I I gave actually there was a Lithuanian who worked there. He worked there, and I was working on the till, and I knew this guy. We were kind of friends, and he said, "Oh, can I get like a mini fillet, like a chicken burger, whatever you call it, from McDonald's?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." And he said, "Oh, just put another one in the bag. Give me two, like two for one." And I said, "Oh, I can't do that." Like, and he was like, "No, go on, do it." And I was a little bit scared of him, like a tiny bit. Didn't know what he was gonna do. So I put two in the bag and I gave it to him. And my manager saw, and she fired me. That was it. I was done. She was like, "Get out." And I was devastated because I'd never been fired from a job before. And yeah, I was really annoyed at that guy, but we stayed, acquaintances. And so then I started working in Boots, the chemist, and I didn't like that. So I got a job in HMV, which is a music store. So I really liked doing that. And I still kept in touch with one of the guys who worked at Boots, and this guy was a really funny guy, and he he had he had a crush on a girl who worked in a very large boutique store called Brown Thomas, which is it's in Dublin, and it's sort of like the equivalent of like a Harrods or something like that. So imagine a big like mega store. And he said, "Come and see this girl. Like she works in the candlestick store." It's like, okay, let's go. So I walked with him for support, and we go to the store, and I see this nice looking blonde girl, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, she looks pretty good." And I was like, "Why don't you just go talk to her?" He's like, "Oh no, man, I can't talk to her." I was like, "You like her? Just go ask her. Like, just go ask her out." She's like, "No, I can't." So anyway, we left, and then I think between us going to that store, I'd left Boots and I went to HMV. But I remembered it was only a couple of weeks. And I was thinking, if he's not going to ask that girl out, I'm going to go ask her out. So I waited until payday, and I went and I bought like a whole new wardrobe and I got my hair cut and everything. And I was like, I'm going to go, looking my best and see if this girl will go out on the date with me. And so I've got these like red trainers on, like blue jeans, white t-shirt, nice cardigan, fresh hair. Like I had hair back then. And so I go there, and I go to the candlestick store and I asked the girl, I was like, hey, you want to go out sometime? Like, and she's like, oh, I've got a boyfriend, I can't. And I was like, oh, okay, no worries, right? I'll see you around. And she remembered me because I've been in before with that guy. And so then I'm walking through the store, and to my right, as I'm walking towards the escalator, there is a chocolate counter of luxury chocolates, Lear chocolates. And I see this girl, dark hair, glasses, like she's stunning looking. And she looks over and she smiles, and I smile, and I'm like, that's a bit more than a customer service smile. And anyway, I go to the escalator and I go down the escalator, and then I'm getting really mad at myself. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Go back and talk to her. What is wrong with you? Like, so I do it. I get back on the escalator and I go back up to the same floor. And there's some books laid out on these tables. And I just, I go and pretend casually, oh, I'm looking at these books. And I see she looks over and she's like laughing at me because she realizes that I've gone down and come back up. So I thought, that's it. The game is over now. I have to go and do something about this. And so I go over and I talk to her and I say, oh, I noticed you noticed me, like, as I was walking through. How you doing? You okay? And she's like, yeah, good. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing after this? Do you want to go grab a coffee? And we're having a bit of chit chat, and I noticed she's got this weird accent, and she sounds American, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And I said, where are you from? And she's like, I'm from Latvia. I was like, oh, no idea, absolutely no idea at that point where this country is, or it could have been anywhere. And I said, oh, do you want to go grab a coffee? And she said, coffee? She was like, you can take me for a beer. And I was like, okay. She was like, meet me outside in 20 minutes. I was like, nice one. So I waited outside and I was like, man, this chick is not going to turn up. Like, there's like 50 different entrances and exits to this building. She's not going to turn up. And she did turn up. And I was like, whoa. So then we get chatting. We go to a bar. We have a great night. And the rest is history. We have like an almost 2-year relationship. But that girl was Einar's ex-girlfriend. And so after working at HMV and stuff like this, my dad calls me and he says, oh, I've got this other pub and I want you to come back and like run this pub for me. And I said, well, okay, but at that point, Latvia wasn't part of the European Union, and that girl would have needed a visa to get into the UK. So it was a bit awkward. But anyway, I went over and I left her there, and I went over and she came over a couple of months after that. And so, we're working in the pub, everything's going great, but my dad's a psycho. So he, like, after the Christmas period was done, I don't know whether he didn't want to pay the wages anymore or whatever the deal was, but he kicked us out. And, we did a really good job, but we were left in the lurch. Like, I was left, and I even gave my dad some of the savings that I had. He asked me for this money, like 500 quid, so that he could do some renovations at the other pub, and he never gave that back to me. So we were low on cash and we didn't know what to do. So she was like, we might as well go to Latvia and figure it out. So I was like, okay. And we went to Latvia and we stayed there for 2 weeks, and I met her family. I met her, sister and mother and stepdad and all that sort of stuff, and everything's great. I went skiing for the first time, ate food that I'd never even heard of or seen, or all this different stuff. And then the 2 weeks were up, and she was like, let's go back to Ireland. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be hard. And so she knew, obviously she knew Einar's, but she knew the girl that she was friends with the girl that Einar's was now with. because I think that they'd all traveled over from Latvia a few years before as one big group. And so then I was in a situation where there was me and this girl, and we were basically homeless with very little money, like hardly anything. And we turned up in Swords at this really nice house, this amazing sort of new build house that they were renting. And I was like, "Hi, how's it going, mate? You okay?" And at first I was like, this is her ex-boyfriend, and he looks like an enormous giant gorgeous Viking, doesn't he? Like, he's insane how big he is, right, with his long hair and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh man, and I'm feeling insecure. And so we didn't really get on. It was a bit awkward for him, a bit awkward for me, for literally about 5 days. And then, and then we became like best mates. And then Katrina hated it, like the girl that I was with. And in the end, the relationship with her didn't work out because, you know, all of the stresses of all that event. But me and Anos remained friends, and we're still friends to this day. Like, was it 21 years later or something like that? 20 years later. So yeah, we always stayed in touch, and we tried to do loads of different business things together. At one point, he was into shipping, the trailers from the back of trucks.
Yes.
And trucks and stuff like that. So he was coming over and he was buying those here and shipping them over to Latvia, and he was doing stuff like that. And then in 2016, I wanted to leave teaching. I wanted to leave, lecturing at the college that I was at, because they wouldn't give me a proper contract.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this weird idea that I had a friend who lived in Spain, and his father had a logistics company, and he also ran a pharmaceutical company, import and export. And then I knew that those guys were doing food, and we knew some contacts in North Africa, and like everything just like came together in my mind. And I thought, I need to get all of these parties together so that we can come up with some sort of deal where we can ship things either to North Africa or from North Africa to Europe, like either way. So that's when I started to get involved, and that's when my adventure in 2016 really began, after that meeting where I met you. And it was a few years before I got back into teaching, because we tried different things, and we just couldn't get it working. We had the wrong contacts in North Africa, and we ended up getting into different sorts of trouble, different sorts of adventure that I can never speak about. But that's it. Yeah, that's
the beauty of the adventure, because sometimes you don't manage, to do something. You do not succeed. But when you think, from different angle, really, I didn't succeed,
Yeah.
But maybe I got some new experiences, like some new people. I met some new people who, then later will help me somewhere else. So I'm trying to look in that kind of perspective. Of course, I'm not a robot, sometimes, we have ups and downs, but I'm trying to think, that, if life gives you opportunities, you just take it and you try it. If it didn't happen, the way you imagined, but maybe it happened in another way, And the same, I can tell you that, this business didn't, succeed like we wanted with the Latvian guys. But, look at us now. We met there. We still in touch. I'm receiving presents for my newborn from you. So it's crazy, how things change if you change the perspective. And actually, for me, it is one more topic I wanted to touch, because at the very end of our collaboration with the Latvians, I was starting to feel some weird things with my eyes. Starting like feel tired eyes, and then it's like blurry view. Then it became like double vision, like all the vision is double. And then I started to look what's wrong with me. After some medicine, it only left like I was able to look normally if like the view was normal if I look to the right or straight. If I look to the like more to the left, it's double. And then 1 year of adventure, like different tests and so on and so on. And then after 1 year, I just I had to to do like second test of MRI for my head, and then they noticed that something grew up. And then they said, listen, we have to get the approval. We have an idea what it might be, but we want to discuss with our colleagues from Swedish hospital. I don't remember which one it was, and then I received this note that you have a chordoma tumor, and then I go and Google it, and then you see like it's like 300 cases in US, and like 650 cases in European Union. Then you realize that it's nothing, like it's not so common. Okay, then you like dig deeper, and then you realize that it's not so deadly. It's just quite unknown, or like it's from genetics point of view, something like. But that's if it's like noticed on time and you do some certain things, then it's you still can live proper life. And then when the journey began, I went to with the help of European doctors who are because I found this Chordoma Foundation in United States. I wrote them the email. That's again freedom of the communication, again the freedom to get the information when you need it. And they say like, look, like we like our services are like for US based patients, but we have the database of the people in Europe, the doctors in Europe who you can contact and might help you. So out of those 5 contacts, like I received 4 responses, and from those 4, 3 lead me to the one, like to Switzerland. And the Swiss doctors they were really amazing, but because, for example, with some other countries, they just like say, oh yeah, we know, we work with this, and just come to pay some money for this visit, and then we check you and we do some tests, and then we say that like what's really with you. And then you think, listen guys, the MRI is the same everywhere, but again, I understand they want to do it themselves, to be 100% sure that it's from their side again. But when you go there and you see the same machine, the Philips machine, MRI, you realize that it's no big deal. And when it was with this Paul Scherrer Institute, they contact me immediately. The professor of this clinic, he called me, and we talked, for like half an hour. He explained me, what are the really risks for me, like how I should, proceed with zero charge, which was like really amazing. And I'm really grateful for them. And it was, I still now I understand that there is some good things free of charge, And then, they did one more this biopsy for me in Lithuania, and they say like they send the MRI and then say, okay, we still want in order to have this maximum effect on this thing, we want to reduce it a little bit more because it's too close to all these brain, the main, like the main things of the body, you know, these nerves and so on. And I said, okay, you know, then I went to Lithuanians. Lithuanians say we have no experience like with that kind of tumor. Like we do this kind of surgeries, but you know, the chance are like, at the moment we say like statistically it's 50-50. So just, you know, then I talk again with this Swiss doctors, and they said there is two more options. You know, if you want, you can come to Switzerland, or you go to Munich, to this hospital. I believe that in Munich it will be a little bit cheaper for you because you are from EU. Again, these dudes, I didn't pay them like a cent, you know, a penny, like nothing, and they are like talking for me like it should be like what is better for me, not what is like more better for them or what is more beneficial for them. Then I went to Germany. They did this surgery. So now Munich is my second hometown. I was born there in 2019, March 4th of March again, which is basically 2 days after my birthday, or my real birthday. And then we went with all the family. That moment we were 3 of us to Switzerland to do this radiotherapy. And then you're like, okay, for me it was, you know, it was tough. It was, you know, physical and some, you know, difficult times. You know, I wasn't feeling very strong, you know, but because of this method that they are using, it is much more safe to use on the kids. So basically at this hospital they have one room which is simply only for the kids treatment. And when you see like small kids who are like the same age like yours or like a couple years older, who are there, you know, on the bed, and they're like moving it from the hospital to this treatment, you know, then you like take your shit together, and then, you know, you say like, I will fight till the end, you know, I'm not feeling that bad, you know, stop, you know, saying that something bad, you know, just change your attitude. And actually it changed everything for me, like inside my head. You realize that if you hate your job, yeah, at the moment, you just change it, because it doesn't help you or the company, because you are going to be shitty worker, because you're always, you know, unhappy, you're always complaining, but it's only the business connection. You just simply move somewhere else and you try your, you know, and for people sometimes when they work long and in the same company, they have this fear that if I move, then it's, you know, something new, you know, I couldn't handle, and you know, so this is, I believe, I know that there are a lot of people who know who are talking about the tumors, but the main message for me, it's like you always have to keep fighting. You have to understand that you've been given the second chance, that now you have to understand, you know, and take decisions, you know, to live much more healthier. And it doesn't mean that you like need to cut everything from your from your routine, and then you like don't do beer or something. So it was one of the first questions that I asked, you know, if I still can have a beer. So they said like, if it's like not like 7 days in a row, like you totally
yeah, then you'll be okay.
then it's okay, you know. The different thing is with the smoking, because it's because the operation was through the nose, and it was, you know, all the system is pretty much ruined and different now, so it will really kill me. But you know, because I'm not a smoker, so it's not a big deal for me. But yeah, so when it doesn't how how to say, when it's not so close to you, you think, that's again one more, like the same like with the war. It's not, somewhere in Ukraine. I'm in Brazil. What the fuck? I want to. Why would I care? But again, when it's so close to you, then you care. And actually, we can move to the basketball now, which is our second religion, because Lithuania today is playing the World Cup qualification. My dad is assistant coach.
Ah,
And
nice.
Lithuania will actually all the spectators will receive the Ukrainian flags there. Our basketball federation ordered like 150 meters long length Ukrainian flag to place it in the court. So again, for the basketball, even in that thing, we are fighting, and actually, basketball was Lithuanians' main weapon for in the previous time, fight for their name. Our basketball nation with Sabonis, who are like one of the probably the greatest guy of Lithuanian history in basketball. They first they were still able to play for these post-Soviet. It was called like post-Soviet Union countries, something like that, in Barcelona '92 in Olympic Games. But they decided, with the lack of budget, but they gathered everything themselves, and they went like for a bronze medal for Lithuanian name, and actually they won against this post-Soviet countries union in the this small final for the third place. So it is a very big thing in Lithuania, and actually it helps unite people. It helps to fight and to give the message. It is hard, especially when you are a kid of a Lithuanian national basketball team coach, because my father used to be the head coach of it. Now they asked them to help the new young coach to support him, so he's now assistant one. And it is hard because we have 3 million. We say we have 3 million critics all the time, But again, it's a big weapon against everything for us.
And can you tell us a little bit about your basketball career?
Yeah, my basketball career, actually, I started, playing for one basketball school, which was like a smaller one in close to my home. And one of the ideas was like, okay, first it was close to my home, so I was able to to go there by myself, safely. The second idea was because my father's name was, okay, it wasn't that famous at that moment, but he was still known for the basketball community. So yeah, they didn't want to go to the bigger schools to get for me for this, because at that moment mobbing was the big thing in childhood. So I started to play there. Then it was in certain period of time I realized that I already reached the top of that possibility of that team, and so moved to this Sabonis basketball school, which was like number one in Lithuania. And the thing was that the head coach of that team, of my year team, he went to Sweden, and he left there with the 6 or 7 kids from this main team. So they were in trouble. They needed to recruit new team. So I just used the timing, and I went there. But I wanted, it is all the time with me. I wanted, to be accepted, not because my last name, but because what I do. So I went there to talk with the coach. He said, okay, I believe that we are pretty much full, but you can try, you practice with us for 1.5 months during the summer, and then in autumn we will decide what to do. So we did this first, the physical training, you know, then we went to the gym, and then after the coach calls me and says like, listen, now you have to, you know, sign this agreement in like contract to the basketball school. I need your last name. And then I say the last name, and he said, maybe you have to do something with this guy. I said, he's my dad. And he said that, okay, now it explains a lot. Your attitude, your passion, and your working ethic. But since then, you know, when I went to this team, and you know, I was keep, you know, getting this dumb talk, you know, from the other teams in Lithuania that he went there only because of his, you know, because of his dad, and because my all team, like my all teammates, they knew how it happened, and they were always covering me on that. So it was nice, you know, and you know, I was, you know, again, then maybe it was a little bit hard, and it was a little bit, it a little bit hurt, you know, to hear that. But now I realize that the most important thing is to, you know, to be true to yourself. And you know, since I know that that how it happened, I'm happy with the decision that I made. And then just like when I had to graduate the basketball school, I had this conversation. My coach, he asked me, and he said like, listen, I have a proposition for you. You know, we are gathering new team for this second and the third league of Lithuania basketball, like the professional league. And I believe that if you like put some little extra work during the summer, you can be in that team, either the second team or the third team, you know. And but you know, what's your decision? And I would lie if I would say that I still don't think about this moment. But then I said, listen, basketball for me is the hobby now, and I really enjoy doing it. But I don't have some physical abilities. Like I don't have enough length. Like um, maybe not enough, but I don't have like some. I'm not like 2 meters 15, which is like it's pretty much clear that you are in basketball, you know. Or like I cannot jump like crazy, you know, or something. The only thing I have is my work ethics, my technique, you know, and so, you know, I mean my attitude, which could lead me to the main league. I still believe in it, but you know, because I grew up in the basketball family, and everybody, I believe the same in UK for the football. Everybody is just talking and seeing the success stories, but how many lads, you know, they don't go there. They just stuck somewhere in between. They got injured, and then what? If you have no education, which was you know, it wasn't all the time from my dad, you have to have education. If you have education, you can do whatever, because later if you are injured or something, you know, and you don't have anything else, you know, you're screwed. You like, you don't have any plan B. So for me, I said to coach that my plan B is basketball. You know, for my last year, I want to play as much as possible, because it is important for me, you know, to the process of the practicing. So he let me to like to practice with the main team, but I played for the second one in official games. Like this basketball game is like 40 minutes, so I played like 35, 32 minutes, like most of the game. And it was, you know, I enjoyed it because it, you know, I made a decision, you know, and let my actually I let the other guy who is now like, I believe still playing in some fourth league of in Germany, to go instead of me. And yeah, sometimes I still have the idea that maybe I could have, you know, tried it, and you know, maybe then I would like go to United States, you know, to go into the university or the college to get the education with the basketball, you know. But it's about the choices, you know. I made that one before, and it's better not to look back about it.
Yeah, that's true. If you spend too much time pondering about what should I have done, or if I'd have taken a different choice, or you're gonna lose out on the beautiful things that you've got now. So yeah, you can't yeah, you know, whatever choices we make in life, we always make the best choice that we've got
At
based
that
on
moment, yeah.
at that moment, yeah, based on the information that we have. So it's not like we're anybody is making choices thinking, well, this will be a bad choice in the future.
Because then later on, basketball really helped me, because I still played till 2017, until all the health issue. I played in the amateur leagues, like loads of teams. So I met a lot of people who are still, we like then connect in the businesses, like a business contact. I went to this just before my father went to the basketball federation. So I started, there. Working as a first of all like a volunteer for the events. Then I was like a freelance manager for the project, like for the events that was happening there before the European Championship in Lithuania. So it was a nice journey, and it still is. We still, like this year, like last year, we came up with the decision together with my old friends, old buddies from basketball and from the childhood, that we already miss basketball, so we rent now the university gym, and we spend some 2 hours and 1 hour on Saturdays. So, and actually it's even we spend the time with the families, because we bring the kids play something, we play basketball, and we all share the room, and we enjoy and we laugh, and so it's again, feel the joy.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. So have you got any plans maybe further down the line to sort of follow in your father's footsteps, maybe become a coach or something like that? Or do you think it's just going to remain like a hobby with friends? Any, or what's next for you? Say everything blows over in the Ukraine, everything sorts out, and life is just normal in Lithuania.
Yeah. So
hopefully,
yeah, I first of all, so I'm really happy with my situation now in university, because I really feel like I'm in a space where like I really enjoy working, because I really enjoy communication with the people. I really enjoy connecting people. I have a business background that helps me, to make the deals. I also work with the political backgrounds. I already just like last week we finished and we application for this big European Union project for European digital innovation hubs. So basically, it is either this like in a small amount for with like cooperation with the businesses, and this, and then there's this global thing that inside the Europe, like, so now I will go in a couple of exhibitions probably, if nothing happens, this year in Europe. So I really enjoy working there. So at the moment, I would say I would not change anything. And about the basketball, I never like moved away since, because I was like in 2009, I started to work first for one project as volunteer. Then because I was had driver's license, and I was talking fluent English, plus I was from this background, so I knew the people. So this basketball federation, they wanted for me to join more projects. So I spent this like I believe 5 summers with all the different projects. Main was like a FIBA Europe coaching certificate, which is like for the youth coaches to like 3 years course. When they first start with the under 16 championship, then moves second year under 18, and then the third year is they work together with under 20 championship. They work with the best coaches of the basketball in Europe. They get the courses and they have exams, and then they get this certification that they went through all this education process of how like kids grow, you know, from under 16 to under 20 to the men. And so I was with the second generation of this FECC, we call it, and now I believe it is sixth or already. So I was with the second, the third, and the fifth when it was in Lithuania. Then I had this experience because I was already working with the federation, and we had this European Championship in Lithuania. So you imagine the same, like it would be like it was, you know, the World Cup in UK. Yeah,
Yeah, very exciting.
and you know the all the media coverage is big, you know, on the team, and we had to have this attaché of the team, like the help of this team manager, you know, with the like this police stuff, the travels and all this management inside of the tournament, you know. And the federation asked my dad permission for me to be that guy for the Lithuanian team, because they didn't want anybody from outside. And first answer was no, because of all this coverage, you know, and everything. But then we had this big conversation in the family. We had the strict rule that I don't talk with the media. I don't sneak into this into the players' room or like a lot of different, you know, rules from my dad. And I said, okay, you know, I'm going there for the work, you know, not for the, you know, for the fun. But you know what happened? Actually, I received this business phone for this, you know, communication with police, with the buses, with the organizers, and I believe on the second day, I received the call, you know, so I'm like hanging up all the time because, you know, people are calling constantly because all the management is happening, and they say like, "Hello, this is the one that we know, like journalist from this and this." You know, I said, "Fuck yeah, I'm screwed already." You know, I said, "No, I cannot talk." But he said like, "What are you ashamed?" You know. So just a few quick questions, and you know, and uh, and they had the same question for me, like you. That now do like how you believe, like what's your role in basketball, how you believe. So I said it then and I will repeat it now. There is enough one Kemzura in basketball at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the second. I would really love it. It's interesting for me, and I really like had some experience already in with the management part of this of it. You know, it is interesting business and interesting stuff. But you know, I believe there is a lot of to do in the world without basketball. So I'm trying to stick it as the fan, as you know, as a hobby. Even though I still, you know, help my father with some connections, because since I was working with the young youth coaches back then, most of them now are working with in the main championships in Europe as a head coaches, as the assistant coaches. So as a coach, you want, you know, to like gather some scouting reports or some exchange some information. So you know, I'm happy to help my father, you know, to receive the information, for example, from France, Italy, or somewhere else where I know the people. So again, the perspective is that maybe I didn't succeed in basketball, but it brings me a lot of connections, which helps me in personally and my family. So, and actually, it even helped me with I got really big support from the basketball community for this tumor thing. So it was nice.
Yeah. And is that all completely gone now? The tumor you were
Yeah,
looking
yeah. From what you know, I have to do those constant checks now. But the last one was actually like year and a half after they had this scan in Germany, and they said something changing. You know, so I was a little bit concerned, but then we talked with the Swiss doctors, and they said it's the cut, like the place where it was cut So this the all the skin is changing, you know, and
Okay.
you know, so it's basically the healing, still healing, and so that's why it changes, you know. So since then it was like already 3 checks, nothing changed. So I believe, and I live with that thought that it's not gone, you know, and it will never happen again.
So before we wrap it up, do you have any words for like the Ukrainians or the Russians, like before we go?
For the Russians, I would like to say that nobody hates you. And I also want to say that for them, it's perfect time to wake up, perfect time to do something with that, because Ukrainians are really beating shit up out of the Russian army in Ukraine. And actually, the main message that is now around all our media is that, and it came from the Ukrainian side, that the main difference between Ukrainians and Russians now, that the Russian soldiers came there because they had an idea that they are going for training, and now they are pushed to attack, while Ukrainians are fighting for their homeland, fighting for their families, for their heritage. So I believe everybody understands which side is stronger from the, like, because if you don't understand why you're fighting.
Yeah.
So, and for Ukrainians, Slava Ukraini, and we are here with you, and we send, actually I myself, we gathering the stuff for the refugee families, for the kids. We will send them tomorrow. We already, I believe, people collected more than 3 million euros for the Ukrainian people. So we are with you. We fight with you in our heads and in the hearts. So stay strong, and I believe there is so the only one solution that's possible is stop war, because nobody is getting anything from it.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got to stop. So hey dude, it's been an absolute pleasure and an education, and you know, I'm so happy that we managed to get together and you know, discuss all these things. And obviously some of the topics are you know, really raw, really tense right now, so it's not easy to sort of you know, put an opinion out there or to voice, you know, dissent, you know, sometimes, especially when the wolf or the bear is like, you know, just around the corner, you know. And so yeah, I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks so much for your time. It's been awesome.
Yeah, so thank you for this opportunity, you know, again, something new in my life. I really appreciate it. That means I'm still alive. I'm still keep living, you know.
Still growing.
Still growing.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.